Today, we're going to be diving deep into the world of video game content creators, specifically the amazing YouTubers who have inspired my love for game design and development. These are the creators who have made me laugh, cry, and above all, think deeply about what makes gaming truly amazing. Through their talent, passion, and creativity, they have inspired me to pursue my own dreams of game development. This video is a celebration of their incredible contributions to the gaming community, from their insightful commentary on gaming trends to their deep dives into the lore and mechanics of our favorite games. They are genuinely some of the coolest, most engaging personalities on YouTube. So settle in and let me share with you the top YouTubers who have inspired my love and passion for gaming and who I hope can continue to inspire gamers around the world every day. I'll be dividing the list into 4 categories, starting with some of the more general gaming creators who really helped shape me as the gamer and in many cases person I am today. Then I'll be featuring some amazing video essayists who delve deep into every facet of the games they analyze, creators that open my eyes to the more subtle aspects of video games, helping me appreciate them even more. After that, I'll be showcasing some of my favorite channels that focus purely on game design, helping guide me in making my own games. And finally, I'll be highlighting some awesome devloggers who really inspired me to start making my own devlogs. Feel free to check those out if you're interested. Let's get started.
There's a lot of cars out now. Look at all these cars. 4. Wow. Person! Sausage! The sausage to you too! What has he gone?
Nowadays, you may know NerdCubed as Daniel Hardcastle, best-selling author and star actor of the Polybius heist. Or more realistically, depending on how young you are, you may not have heard of him at all. But to me, Dan will always be Sex Butt McGee. Dan, you're right. To me, Dan will always be NerdCubed, one of the top 2 content creators that helped shape my passion for video games. Okay, before we get into that, who is Dan if you've actually never heard of him? He is a British YouTuber who has been making videos about video games since around 2011. His channel has gone through many phases over the years. He used to do heavily edited let's plays, some game reviews, game recommendations, collabs with friends and family, skits, challenges, news shows, rants, all delivered with his signature style of humor.
Oh my god, I just realised something absolutely amazing that I can do. Na 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 na.
As beautiful as the day we met.
Where did you meet? In a fucking burn ward?
Oh no! A trapped puppy!
Is it a trapped puppy that's calling? Ooh, look at this. This is the original version of the Macarena. Wait, jump. Wait, jump. How was it easier getting through an anus than it was a field of laser beams? I ask you.
I first found Dan's channel back in 2012. I still remember it was his NerdCubed Plays Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 video. I was on a nostalgia trip looking for Roller Coaster Tycoon videos, and his came up as a fairly recent upload. It's a fairly unassuming video, but his personality, creativity, humor and playstyle really resonated with 19-year-old me. Over the years, I came to appreciate Dan more and more, both for his humor and for his genuine love and passion for video games. He always advocated for indie games. I discovered some of my all-time favorite games through him, and he's not afraid to always call out the video game industry on its bullshit. Having followed him for years, I came to realize in my early to mid-20s that not only did his love and passion for gaming rub off on me, but even my own style of humor started mimicking his. I know, parasocial relationships and all that, but if I were to ever get to meet Dan in real life, all I would need is
this gay kiss!
Some people are gonna be very confused by that joke. Anyway, even though he doesn't produce as much content as he used to, deciding to focus more on himself and his family, it's always a joy to lurk in his Twitch streams or catch the few times he does upload to YouTube. Really excited for the 12 channel reboot, by the way. To this day, I think back fondly of the days of janky airport simulators.
There it is! Yes! Yes! I have crashed a plane! I feel victorious in many ways!
Your loud as fuck PC fans, the Far Cry 3 permadeath run.
Oh, where the fuck did you come from? Where the fuck did you go? What the hell was that? Why am I healing? No!
Your loud as fuck keyboard, the Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 save file that can never be opened again, your utter joy when playing Just Cause 3 for the first time.
It's on the road still. Bail out.
idea of that all day.
And of course, when you yourself tried your hand at game development. I really don't know what videos to recommend here, there's too many great ones. Just go to his channel and watch whatever, you'll love it. Or go buy his book, Fuck Yeah Video Games. What, you thought I was kidding with the best-selling author bit? Nah, it's genuinely a fantastic book about exactly the kind of stuff I'm trying to convey in this video. Except, you know, from someone who can make word sentence better. So really, thank you Dan for always being there with your content whenever I needed a laugh, and for showing me why video games are actually really fucking awesome.
You're gonna get tidal wave helicopter! Shit, where did that come from? Oh my god!
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is TotalBiscuit. I'm here to ask and answer one simple question. WTF is Day 1 Gary's Incident?
This is gonna be a hard one. John Bain, aka TotalBiscuit, the cynical Brit, was a British video game critic and commentator. On his channel, he provided commentary on video game news, reviews, and playthroughs. He was known for his blunt and honest opinions and for his in-depth analysis of games, often highlighting technical issues or controversial topics within the gaming industry. TB was a prominent figure in the gaming community, and his opinions and critiques were widely respected. He was one of the very first YouTubers I discovered back when I was like, 17? He was the creator that opened my eyes to PC gaming, to why high FPS in games matters, why FOV sliders and accessibility options are important.
They've given you this time. The first and possibly most important thing, I think, in this is the field of view slider. We're looking at 110 as maximum. And
he constantly called out big game publishers on their bullshit, clearly wanting the industry to do better.
Better than that, it was hyped up as the example of the next generation. The E3 footage was a lie. There's no other way around it. It was a lie. It was misrepresenting the final quality of the product, and you could...
TB was arguably the greatest force for good the gaming industry has ever had. Sadly, in 2018, he passed away, having lost his years-long battle with cancer. Getting a bit more personal here, to this day, I have not had someone's death, who I never met in real life, affect me as much as TB's did. Just going through his old videos to collect clips has made me more emotional than I would care to admit. Let me share a story that is very dear to me. TotalBiscuit was the very first person I've heard talk about a little game franchise called Persona.
Persona 4 Golden, the only console-specific title to make its way onto my list, and with good reason, because this game has been devouring my life for the past few weeks.
The earliest clip I can find is this one of him including Persona 4 Golden as his number 2 game of 2012. But I have a clear memory of him gushing about it during his podcast, called the Game Station Podcast back then, to Jesse Cox and Dodger. He praised it so much and talked with enthusiasm that was even a bit unusual for him talking about a console game. Remember, Persona 4 Golden released only on the PS Vita back then. He talked about it for multiple episodes in a row as well, passionately filling in the others on his latest experiences with it. I was intrigued, but I didn't have the means to play it back then, so these memories just got shoved into the back of my mind for years. Fast forward to summer of 2020, I'm casually watching the PC gaming show, rather Dan's restream of it, when suddenly Persona 4 Golden gets dropped on PC out of freaking nowhere. Memories of TB talking about one of his all-time favorite games come flooding back to me. I went on Steam and bought it immediately. Around 100 hours later, it became one of my all-time favorite games as well. I have never felt more emotion upon getting to the end credits of a game before. It was incredible. I knew about the sequel Persona 5 being out at this point on PlayStation, but I never gave it much attention before. I had to play it now. P5 Royal, coming out just a few months earlier, was what finally got me to buy a PS4. My first ever Sony console. This was 3 years ago. You could say that, yeah, I like Persona a bit. Just a bit. And I pretty much owe discovering it to TotalBiscuit fangirling about it more than a decade ago. TotalBiscuit's Lord of the Arena series was also the reason I got addicted to Hearthstone for like 5 years, so hey, you win some, you lose some. His channel is still up to this day, and while a lot of his content was very topical, so may not seem too interesting nowadays, his WTF Is series holds up pretty well. In this series, he would play through a game for about an hour, giving his initial impressions and thoughts on the game. He was also very adamant about these videos not being reviews. The series covered a wide range of games from indie titles to big budget releases, and often showcased games that may have otherwise flown under the radar. So go check them out if you're in need of a nostalgia trip. In the end, TotalBiscuit was more than just a gaming critic. He was a voice of reason and honesty in an industry that often lacks it. He helped countless gamers find the games they truly loved, and he inspired many, including myself, to create content of their own. His passion for gaming was contagious, and his legacy continues to inspire new generations of gamers. So here's to TB, may he rest in peace, forever tinkering with the FOV sliders up in the sky.
Bethesda is so good at breaking games that even when it fixes a game, it manages to break it worse, such as that time they patched Skyrim so well that dragons started flying backwards.
James Stephanie Sterling, or Jim Sterling as they are known on their channel, is a video game critic and journalist. In many ways, they carry on the legacy of TotalBiscuit, not only as a prominent voice in the gaming community, but also as someone who is unafraid to speak out against questionable practices in the gaming industry. They are best known for their series The Jimquisition, where they tackle controversial topics and analyze the business practices of game developers and publishers. They often shed light on industry practices that are harmful to consumers, such as pre-order bonuses, microtransactions, and loot boxes. They also highlight the problems of worker exploitation and crunch culture in the industry, issues that are often overlooked by mainstream gaming media. But all that is putting it lightly. Jim's videos are what opened my eyes to what a complete cesspool the so-called
AAA
video game industry can be, bringing to light the scams, workplace abuse, pure evil of billionaire gaming CEOs and their cronies.
$29.8 million was distributed across 865 employees, while a further $28 million was split between just 5 people on CDPR's board. Just 5.
Some of you will probably be slightly shocked by all the tricks I have listed here, but I'll leave the morality of it out of the talk. We can discuss it if we have time later.
Oh yeah, shocked is the word. And when I watched this 19-minute celebration of exploitation, I understood exactly why morality was left out of it, because there is no fucking morality here.
Honestly, there were times I couldn't bring myself to watch the weekly Jimquisition episodes because it was getting just too depressing. But it is extremely important to have someone talk about these issues. Besides consistently covering the clown fiesta that is the gaming industry, much like TB, they are quite involved in the gaming community as well. For example, they cameoed in the hit video game The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
James Stephanie Sterling writes, and I quote, "We're so many games at us."
And have you heard about a small indie game called Vampire Survivors? Do you know all the seemingly random flavor text on characters and weapons? Yeah, James Stephanie Sterling was the writer. In stark contrast to some other entries on this list, Steph isn't included purely because of how much they made me love video games. Don't get me wrong, it's very clear how much passion they have and how much they care about this industry. No way in hell they'd keep doing this if that weren't the case. They are on the list because they made me understand that the gaming industry, especially working for the big companies, is not the glamour many young developers imagine. In fact, it is in many cases much more atrocious. Bringing all these issues to light helped make me a more informed individual, enabling me on multiple occasions to bring these issues to my friends, whenever they blindly praised the company like Ubisoft, or didn't understand what the issues with having microtransactions in a single-player game were. James Stephanie Sterling, thank God for them.
That will do, I guess. Thank God for me.
There's some really great dialogue here. The prostitute's talking about doing it a Witcher and Striga style, which is a cool way that the kingdom's legends can be morphed into jokes. Not by the game's writers alone, but by them adopting what it would be like for the common folk living in this world, and the legends and jokes they would create about big events.
Joseph Anderson is one of my favorite video game essayists on YouTube. His analysis videos are incredibly thorough, and he's always dedicated to producing high quality content. Even though he can often have some pretty controversial opinions about games, he is always able to make a well thought out argument to back them up. One of the things I appreciate about Joe's videos is how he's willing to dive deep into a game and explore every nook and cranny of it. His videos can be incredibly long, sometimes reaching up to several hours, but I always find myself engrossed in his analysis. He's not afraid to criticize a game if it deserves it, but he's also quick to highlight the aspects that he thinks make a game great. Joe's Witcher essay series is one of his most popular works. In the series, he goes through every single quest in The Witcher 1 and 2 and provides in-depth analysis of each and every one. He discusses the writing, the characters, themes and the choices, and much more. It's an impressive feat of analysis and shows his dedication to understanding every aspect of a game. Despite the length, the series is engaging throughout and provides a deep look into one of the most beloved game franchises of recent years. Witcher 3 video when? Joe, hello? I would be remiss not to mention that in addition to his insightful video essays, Joe also streams on Twitch, where he showcases his love of games in a more casual and fun manner. His streams are known for their humorous moments and meme-worthy highlights, often featuring hour-long arguments with chat over the most bonkers reasons.
Great vegetables. Great vegetables.
Was it always voice? Great vegetables. What did you say? Great vegetables. Great vegetables. Great vegetables. Haven't done this in a while. Great vegetables. You're right. Our bond.
If you're looking for a shorter, massive asterisk there, video of his, I highly recommend his critique of Soma, or his video on Edith Finch, which was the one that introduced me to his content.
The parade here is encouraging that. These are the cheerleaders of his suicide. All that's left is for him to be ordained king of his own land, which requires him to bow his head and receive his crown.
Joe's videos have been a constant source of inspiration and learning for me as a game designer and as a player. His dedication to thorough analysis and his willingness to voice his opinions, even if they're controversial, has given me a deeper appreciation for the medium. I look forward to seeing what he has in store for the future and continuing to learn from his insights.
An airbrushed body is hyper-reality, a drink flavored with a berry that doesn't exist. Batman and Catwoman in Arkham, this face, apply it to sex, and you get... It preys upon the consumer, using their desire for actual reality.
Another one of my favorite video game analysis channels is Whitelight. He creates analysis, critique, and retrospective videos that are very engaging to watch. I don't know what it is, but he has a way with words that really tickles me.
Blur is a maelstrom so intense, you won't need to find a way to have fun. It'll find you. It's concentrated game, but chaos is uncaring, and frustration can find you just as easily.
I used to be a pretty big fan of the Assassin's Creed games, and Whitelight has a series on these, which are some of my favorite videos and I highly recommend them. He also has a knack of talking about racing games. He has multiple videos on games like Forza, Need for Speed, as well as some forgotten titles like Blur and Split Second. I'm not a huge fan of racing games, but I still enjoyed the heck out of these videos. The way he structures them, the pacing is basically perfect, and the sprinkles of humor are a great cherry on top. If memory serves, his critique on the Life is Strange games were how I found his channel a few years ago. His style immediately captivated me and I binged hours of his videos.
In Twin Peaks, the owls are not what they seem. In Arcadia, it's the fucking 2D texture demons. Hang on a minute, is that Warren? Oh yeah, that is some elite stalking there from Arcadia Bay's own fucking super simping Olympic champion.
God, you're so disgusting. That's not white chocolate, that's your
Brick!
I also highly recommend one of his more recent videos focusing on the parkour mechanics across the Assassin's Creed games. And if you watched his previously mentioned other AC videos, you'll understand why he put so much effort into this one topic.
The auto parkour button. Until now, it was actually a combo. You had to hold high profile and legs at the same time. 2 buttons at the same time? No one can do that, Ubisoft recognized. It must be made simpler, no matter the cost.
Whitelight is a shining example of a video game essayist who truly goes above and beyond to deliver insightful and engaging content. With his masterful use of language and polished editing, I can only recommend his channel. And who knows, maybe his future videos will inspire you to take a closer look at your favorite games and see them in a whole new light.
Rather than shooting through corridor after boring corridor, the chambers and passages are varied, serving an unknown purpose in universe, but making for a far better experience as a game.
Ahoy, formerly Xbox Ahoy, is a gaming channel run by Stuart Brown, an English content creator who creates documentaries and video essays on various aspects of gaming history. I was first introduced to Ahoy's videos when I was looking for reviews of classic video games, but what I found instead was an extensive library of video essays on the history and evolution of different genres of video games ranging from first-person shooters to racing games. What makes Ahoy's videos so unique is the attention to detail and the amount of research that goes into them. Each video is meticulously crafted with a wealth of information presented in a clear and concise manner. The videos are also beautifully edited, with stunning visuals that add to the overall experience. Watching an Ahoy video feels like attending a masterclass in game design and history. One of Ahoy's most fascinating video essays is about the very first video game, titled The First Video Game. In this video, he takes us on a journey back to the early days of computer science and the first attempts at creating interactive entertainment. As a massive tech nerd myself, this video was extremely fascinating to me.
So named for its wood grain effect vinyl covering. This device connected to any standard television and could play a variety of games, including a tennis game that has a startling similarity to Pong, seen here in a 1969 demonstration.
I won't spoil what the conclusion is, but it is an adventure getting there. I highly recommend it. Another favorite video of mine is Polybius, the video game that doesn't exist, which delves into the urban legend surrounding an alleged mind-controlling arcade game that was supposedly tested by the US government in the 1980s. This video in particular caught my attention due to its intriguing subject matter and detailed research. It was fascinating to see how Ahoy pieced together the story of Polybius, examining the various accounts and theories surrounding the game's supposed existence. The video is also beautifully crafted, featuring stunning visuals and an eerie atmospheric soundtrack that perfectly captured the tone of the subject matter. Interestingly enough, the Polybius mythos was also featured in a film called The Polybius Heist, which centers around a group of thieves attempting to steal the infamous arcade cabinet. This movie was actually made by one of my favorite non-gaming related creators, Ashens, who has somehow already cameoed multiple times in this video.
I am a collector of incredibly rare but totally worthless collectibles.
The Retro Ahoy series is also a masterpiece of gaming history. In it, Stuart takes a deep dive into classic video games, exploring their development, impact, and legacy. Each episode is a meticulously crafted journey through gaming history, with stunning visuals, fascinating interviews, and insightful commentary. The Doom and Secret of Monkey Island episodes are my personal favorites. Check them out.
Persona 5 was everywhere you could look, with Smash announcements, memes, rhythm games, and fucking gacha collaborations. Why is my girlfriend in AFK Arena? Somebody get her out of there.
Yakkocmn is one of the newer additions to my subscriptions feed. But gosh darn it, he just gets me. He creates video essays and reviews about various gaming topics, but usually in a more light-hearted style than the previous channels I mentioned.
So I've come to take your part.
Oh, clever! It's a reference to a good video game.
His views and tastes on video games are very much aligned with my own, and I just really enjoy the content. Besides our obvious shared love for Persona, The reason I actually found his channel in the first place was his obsession with video game music.
Wow, the Nier Automata, Nier Gestalt, and Replicant vinyl box set. Thanks, Undertale Complete vinyl box set. I need to get out more.
I always had a love for video game music. Almost all of my favorite gaming experiences were because of the accompanying score. This is actually a video idea that's been floating in my mind for the past few years, to talk about my favorite music moments in gaming. Let me know in the comments if I should finally give it a go. Yakko's obvious passion in that video really resonated with me, and after watching a few more of his videos, I was pretty impressed. Then with each new upload, he just solidified his status as one of my all-time favorite video game analysis channels. Our tastes aligned so well, some of my favorite gaming recommendations also came from him, the most notable one probably being Neon White, which is a fantastic game you all should play.
I can send a picture of me beating a time to one of the nicest guys I know, only to get a response that says bitch, and then check your times a couple days later.
As for video recommendations, yeah, you should definitely watch his I beat every 3D Sonic game in a week video. It's less of a deep analysis video, but it's really fun. Keep up the good work, Yakko.
A character's run can be split into 3 parts: acceleration, top speed, and deceleration. As in, once you start moving the stick, how long does it take the hero to get up to top speed? And how long does it take to stop when you let go?
Yeah, I don't think anyone who is even slightly interested in video games and how they're made is gonna be surprised to see Game Maker's Toolkit as the first one on this section of the list. Run by Mark Brown, this channel breaks down the mechanics and design of games, exploring what makes them work and why they're so fun to play. With in-depth analysis of games like Celeste, Hollow Knight, Breath of the Wild, GMTK has been an invaluable resource for me as a fledgling game developer, helping me to better understand what it takes to create a game that truly resonates with players. What makes Mark's channel so special is the sheer amount of effort and care he puts into every single video. You can see the passion he has for this medium shining through in every frame, as he breaks down the mechanics of games and explains how they work in a way that's both insightful and accessible. His attention to detail and commitment to quality are unmatched, and it's clear that he puts his heart and soul into every project. Watching his videos is not just entertaining, it's an education in game design and an inspiration for anyone who loves gaming.
Indistinct enemies provide no real reason to prioritize targets, so you might as well pick at random. 2 weapon arsenals limit your ability to make interesting choices. Regenerating health makes you run and hide instead of changing your engagement style. And a cover system means you often don't need to think about your position at all, simplifying the mental load to only 3 questions at a time. It's no wonder why Doom feels so intense in comparison.
And even though he's not a professional game developer himself, Mark's Unity Devlogs series shows just how much he loves learning and experimenting with game development. His dedication to sharing the journey, including his mistakes and successes, is inspiring to any aspiring game developer. Now Mark, I know I said we were starting with the game design channels, but I think you're trying to sneak into the devlog section too. I see you. He also hosts the GMTK Game Jam every year, where game developers from all over the world create games within a set time limit and around a specific theme. Over the last few years the number of participants has grown exponentially, yet I still always manage to somehow miss it. I swear I'll check my calendar next year, damn it. If you haven't checked out Game Maker's Toolkit yet, I highly recommend his videos on Doom's combat, Celeste's movement, or how to combine video game genres. They're a great starting point for anyone looking to deepen their understanding of game design.
This is easily the most appealing 3D Sonic's animation has been to this point, and saying that just made me sad. But Sonic's gameplay animation has a few high points too. His board fidget, it's...
New Frame Plus is a channel that I absolutely adore. It is run by animator Dan Floyd, who combines his love for video games and animation to create some of the most entertaining and informative videos on YouTube.
The real value of this strong pose design and hyper-limited animation is in the ways that they can both be used to show a progression of emotions over the course of a story.
His videos go in depth into the animation of video games, breaking down everything from the keyframe animation to the use of squash and stretch. I've always had an interest in animation, and Dan's videos have not only helped me appreciate the animation in video games even more, but also improved the animation in my own games. Just look at the squishiness. Look at it! You can tell he genuinely loves this medium, and his knowledge and insights into game animation are unparalleled. He doesn't just talk about animation either. He often covers game design as well, discussing how animation can enhance or detract from the overall experience. Dan's videos are both entertaining and insightful, and I always look forward to his next upload. One of my favorite videos from New Frame Plus is his deep dive into the animation of Sonic the Hedgehog. In it, he explains how the iconic character's animation evolved over the years, and how it influenced the gameplay and the overall Sonic experience.
Sure, the walk and the run cycles are slightly better here than in Sonic Adventure 2, but honestly, for this game it matters more that the movement of your trio as a unit feels good.
It's a testament to his incredible research skills and attention to detail, and it's just one example of the kind of content he creates. From analyzing the animation in games like Cuphead and Hollow Knight, to exploring the artistry of game character movement, New Frame Plus is always entertaining and insightful. Besides the Sonic video, I highly recommend his video on the style of Persona 5's all-out attacks.
Flourish, and then with a snappy zoom, your 3D character is swapped for a gorgeous hand-drawn rendition, and the background is filled with an animated splash screen as the enemy bursts in a silhouetted blood spray effect.
So if you're a fan of video games or animation, you definitely won't regret checking New Frame Plus out.
You also need to think about what failing a QTE does for your scene. Game over and restart like Dragon's Lair? Or this amazing Spider-Man scene?
Design Doc is a relatively new addition to my YouTube subscriptions, but one that has quickly become a favorite. They break down game design principles in a way that is both informative and easy to understand.
You're running across a collapsing bridge. It's clear you're not going to make it. You desperately jump to the other side and then...
My favorite series on the channel is Good Design, Bad Design, where they take a deep dive into specific games and highlight what they did well and what they could have done better, often focusing heavily on graphic, UI, and UX design.
If you're making your own custom font for stylistic purposes, you're sailing in uncharted waters. And the fastest way to get eaten by a typographic sea snake is to take a display font and use it for everything.
They cover a wide range of games and always have insightful critiques and suggestions. I highly suggest checking them out. You're sure to come away with a greater understanding and appreciation of what goes into making a great game. Hi, it's me editing the video you're just watching. So I'm starting to realize that this thing is getting really freaking long, so to spare everyone's sanity, how about I set a challenge to myself? This last section, I will not spend more than 1 minute on each entry, and then we can wrap up and everyone can go about their business. Also, it's gonna take for freaking ever to upload if it gets this long, so bear with me.
I added some mushroom that you can pick up. Sugan mushroom. Sugan, these nuts, boy! So I also added a new enemy. He's called Dave.
It's no big secret that Dani's videos were the biggest influence on me starting my own devlog series here on YouTube. And can you blame me? Dani is probably the most well-known devlogger on the site at this point. If you don't know him, he's a Swedish game developer and YouTuber. Wait, that doesn't sound right. He's a Norwegian game developer and YouTuber who is very well known for his very fun and memey devlog videos. You may have seen some popular streamers playing some of his games before. And yeah, his creativity and editing style is really entertaining.
This should be a walk in the park. I was wrong. I haven't slept in 3 days. Code. A lot of code. I want to commit die.
Now his last upload was more than a year ago at the time of editing, but I am hopeful he will return soon and I'm sure it will be glorious.
Proper collision for the terrain is non-existent at the moment. I've just got this little flat surface from before, so that's what we're going to be working on next. Hang on a minute. What's that sound? No.
Nah, mate, this shit's all faulty. We're gonna need to get rid of it. Comment you out, comment you out, comment everything out. Well, looks like my work here is done.
Randy, my favorite Aussie game developer. Out of all of the devloggers I've ever watched, he was probably the one that I most identified with. He started off his journey on creating his dream game pretty much from scratch, having to learn everything along the way, and he shared every step of it. And it was just so refreshing seeing someone struggle through the same hurdles that most other developers do, but then presenting it in such a fun and interesting style of video.
End of file over here, but it think end of file here.
If you've watched any of my devlogs, you may have noticed that, contrary to what this comment says, the biggest influence on my editing style has actually been Randy. I mean, just look at this. Now, unfortunately, Randy has gone on a hiatus from YouTube and regular streaming, but I hope one day he can return triumphant, having completed his dream game.
That's a Vec 4. Rotation is just pitch your roll, right? It's only got 3 components, right?
Random kill mechanic during a precision platformer is just trolling bullshit. I feel sorry for the idiotic developers that don't understand how to make something fun and challenging go back to school. Wow.
Jonas is a German video game developer and YouTuber. He was part of the team that made the indie game Islanders, but more notably, at least for me, he is the creator of the indie game Will You Snail. Will You Snail is a precision platformer featuring an evil AI that does everything it can to make your life miserable. I've been following the development of Will You Snail for the last few years, as Jonas was meticulously documenting every step of the development journey up to release. Seeing the game be released after so many years of hard work was really inspiring. Fun fact, I was probably one of the very first people who got to play the game on the Steam Deck before release. #humblebrag. It's also a fantastic game which I highly recommend to anyone that hates themselves. Besides his devlogs, he does a lot of fun game development challenge videos, which if you're even slightly interested in game development, you should definitely check out. I'm very much looking forward to whatever project Jonas is going to be working on next. Well, that about wraps up my personal journey for today. That's weird. I'm preparing to sign off on the video, but I can still see like 4 minutes left. That's weird. It's probably nothing. These wonderful YouTubers pour their hearts and souls into creating content that entertains, informs, and inspires gamers worldwide. From video game essay channels that break down game mechanics and design to game devlog channels offering a behind-the-scenes look at the development process, these creators have helped me understand what it takes to create a game that resonates with players. And this was just a small sample of them. Believe me, there are plenty of other creators that are just as amazing as the ones I talked about today that I could not fit into this one video, but I would love to talk about them as well. So let me know if that's something you would be interested in by leaving a comment, liking, and subscribing.
Hello there, viewer. It sounded like somebody was talking about me. It is I! Ahoy! No, Ashens. No, which one am I? NerdCubed! That's the one, and I'm here today. Well, no, they fucked off. To talk about video games. Because video games are legitimately the greatest thing in the world. They are magic. They're actual magic. You get to control what happens on the TV screen. You don't... In no other art form do you get to control. Do you get to be in control? Do you get to play? You get to play. That's the thing, right? Adults complain, you know, when I was growing up, adults were like, oh, I used to have toys and then I had taxes to pay. Because, you know, adults lose their imagination. They lose their ability to play, but not with video games. With video games, you can just be like, I'm going to go and pretend to be the mayor of a city. And then you are a mayor of a city, and it gives you feedback. It's like an imaginary friend with a database. I'm not selling it. It's an imaginary friend who takes notes. And like he's like, hey, what was that about the city? You've been on a road there. All right. I guess I'll think about that. They're delightful things. They're magical things. They're glorious things. There is nothing better in the world than sitting down and going, yeah, I'm gonna... I mean, some people like to watch people play video games. Don't understand you. Play the fucking thing. That's what they're there for. Taking an active medium, making it passive. I know it's taking my job as well. But, like, this is what I want to do. I want to inspire people to play games. I want people to go off and play games. I want people to watch my videos and go, that was good. And then I'm going to play that. It looks interesting. It looks fun. It looks like something new and exciting and brilliant. And I want to go and experience that. The interest of playing the game for myself. And that's kind of... That's a big part of what I do. Because... I don't make games. I'm made a few. As mentioned previously, I made one or two, and there may be more to come. But for now, I'm just I'm being the best-selling author. Second book coming soon. I'm gonna stop selling my shit now. But I just fucking love video games. There is legitimately nothing like them in the world. Nothing like them in the world. It's art that's interactive, and it's mainstream. What? That's baffling. Nothing else is like that. I mean, you can go all in this film, you know, winning Oscars. Brendan Fraser's sad, but like, you know, in this video game, I can strap rockets to a cow and launch it to the fucking moon myself. That's art. Why isn't that winning an Oscar? Because the Oscars aren't for games. It's fine. We need gaming Oscars. That's what I'm saying. No, we don't. We don't need gaming Oscars. We just need to love video games. Love the video games. From the grandest, biggest, AAA-est motherfucks to the tiniest, littlest, one-man developed, beautiful, little, tiny, weird, fucking what the fuck is this kind of games? They're all glorious. They're all wonderful. Video games are the best in the world. And I will now vanish through the power of editing. Bye. You should just have like one of me like this. I go.